Okay, we're back with the beginner's guide and we're diving once again into the world of expertly made, badly made video games. I believe we're up to chapter 12, Theatre. We definitely had the lecture, that was an experience. Loading January 2010. Looks like January
This
2010.
one took a lot longer than all the others for Coda to make. It was 4 months between this and the last one. That's twice as long as it took him to make any other game before this, and it's not like it's particularly complex, so I remember I found that a little strange at the time.
Look, he got some new assets. He discovered some stacked chairs. Where are we going? To the stage, I guess. Oh wow, okay. Put a lot of effort into them rafters. Good job, Coda. Yeah, that one's looking pretty competent, actually. We go up here. Oh, we're not allowed. That's disappointing. Wanted to explore the rafters, wanted to go full Phantom of the Opera on this shit. Hey. Alright, the performance is beginning. Places, please. In this scene, you will be playing as me. We are at a gathering of professionals. First, you will start out leaning against this wall. I can do that. Pop. Good, stay right there. The woman across the room, in this chair, is a professional photographer of animals. It is your dream to photograph animals professionally. This is your one true chance to learn something from her, to gain something, to succeed. Go on, say something to her. Where's the bathroom? What are you doing? You're deflecting, you're not saying what's actually on your mind. Stop dancing around it and have a conversation with this person. Do it again. So here are all my hopes and dreams. No, that's not what I said to her at all. You're completely missing the tone of the conversation. I was reserved, but I knew what I wanted. I was confident. For some reason, it was just that one moment, but I was confident. Maybe it's that you need a better feel for the setting. There was a lot of people around us. I'll give you some props to work with. These cones that bounce when you touch them will represent the people nearby. Now talk to her again. Whee! 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 You must have worked really hard to get where you are. Whee! You're messing it all up again! You'll freak her out if the conversation gets that personal that quickly. Do you not realize how important this was for me? I'll never get another opportunity like this again. Everything was riding on this. I want to try something. Try stepping back from the stage. Oh. Why is there an immense eternal corridor behind the curtain? That's a bit worrying. We got a lamppost though, which means the game's over, right? Finn. No, okay, I guess we'll keep going. Oh. Oh. Well, look at that, I'm in prison again. Oh well, I guess we'll keep walking. These boots were made for walking. Oh yes, now this is working.
This eerie premonition of what's going to happen next in Coda's life. The solution to social anxiety, to fears of having to perform and having to chase success, the answer for Coda is to withdraw, to hide himself away. Which is what leads to scenarios like the stairs that slowed you down several games ago, where it just becomes harder and harder to access Coda's inner landscape because he keeps retreating. He just keeps backing away from possible connections to anyone other than himself. And to be honest, I didn't consider it very healthy when I first played this game. You know, it looked to me like he was trying to justify the idea of just disconnecting yourself from the world. And that wasn't what I wanted for him or for his games. Because I feel like a lot of his games are inviting me to connect with this person, to bring him closer. But what can you do? After this, Coda went off and took another 5 months to make a new game.
5 whole months to make a game, Jesus. EA will be getting antsy, wouldn't they? Just release it before it's done. Maybe a strip. To play this game properly, you need to keep your eyes closed. Really? Okay, mate. How would I answer the conversation if I had my eyes closed? This is dumb. You're dumb. Fuck you. What's going on? Do something! Fix this! There's the door. Am I going to be killed by a giant door? Okay, well...
You should probably open your eyes if you haven't already. It's pretty much impossible to solve otherwise. And there is a solution, by the way.
Please, someone talk to me. SS Whisper. Interesting. So there is a solution. Does it involve these 3 fucking dots that keep popping up everywhere? I didn't see them in the last one, but they must have been there somewhere. Oh, hello. Didn't see this either. Silly boy. Truth. The only way to stop it is to speak something that is honest. I can't keep making these. Yes, that's it. That's the truth.
Like I said, I was getting concerned. First off, he's never been this explicit in his work about exactly what he's thinking. So where's that coming from? But then even weirder, his work has potentially stopped being an outlet for him. Not like he's having trouble iterating on ideas, but he literally just can't think of new ideas anymore. And in person, he was being a lot more distant than usual. Like, you know how sometimes a person will just deflect anything that you say in order to keep themselves disconnected all the time? It was that kind of thing. Here was the point in my relationship with Coda where I really started to wonder if he needed my help in some way. His games are going to get more desperate from here on out. After this game, it's almost 6 months before he finishes something new.
Hard to see how it could get much more desperate than that. But, okay. I'm prepared. I'm braced. Hello? Oh. Where did this island come from?
Is that a person? How lovely. It's been a long time since I talked to anyone. What's wrong? You look lost.
I have nothing left to give to my work. I like the music. Very disorientating.
Oh no! What's happened? Did something change?
I'm trying to find this engine that used to protect me. To start it again.
Wait, you're looking for a machine. I think I know where it is. It isn't far.
I need to see it to know why it stopped.
I can take you to it, but
If the
there's a
last
problem.
game featured
It's
Coda
guarded by
talking
a
explicitly
difficult
about
puzzle.
his creative frustrations, this one turns it up to 11. Now, put yourself in my shoes playing this. Here's a friend whose work is exhibiting signs of struggle, frustration, anxiety, depression, even. And yet, still, he keeps making games. He keeps throwing himself into the grinder even when he clearly doesn't have the energy for it anymore. Why? What is it for? Because From my perspective at the time, and just what I knew of him, this was a result of how isolated he was.
Of course.
He was in his own little bubble, just sitting at his computer all day, not really showing these games to anyone, not releasing them onto the internet, and so he didn't have anyone outside of himself to connect with. He had no outlet to ground himself on.
Ta-da. I'm still a genius.
You can't talk yourself out of loneliness. It doesn't work that way. You can't be the one writing both the questions and the answers. Then there's no movement. Then there's no circulation. If all of your anxieties are being channeled into your work, then if the work ever fails, you have no backup and you're just going to crash.
There's no machine here.
Trust me, you'll see. You have to say that your work is fun and easy. You have to say that the game development is simple and joyous and that you love it 100% of the time.
Sure, making games is easy.
Ah, that feels wonderful.
But it wasn't true.
Don't worry about it. Just keep talking. Say that creation is easy.
It's easy and it never stops being easy.
Yes, that's wonderful. Keep going.
Seeing this game at the time that he made it, it looked really unhealthy to me. I was watching him do this to himself, and I hated it. I hated seeing him so trapped. It's like, video games are not worth this amount of suffering. This is someone I really cared about. And I used to get so much joy out of seeing him create. For him to suddenly become angry and frustrated like this, it was the worst thing for me.
Those crying noises aren't at all disorientating. Any sacrifices made for my work are worth it 100% of the time.
Yes, more. Keep
I
going.
don't know. This is what I felt at the time. I don't know how else to explain it. I wanted it to stop more than anything. It never felt so rotten. I needed more than I had ever needed anything for this to stop.
Well, this all looks very familiar. Hello. Oh.
But it didn't stop. After finishing this one, Coda takes another 7 months and comes up with a new game.
Is it me, or the months going up by one, the breaks going up by 1 month each time? 4, 5, 6, 7, right? Right? The machine. Oh, I guess we found the machine. Hello, Mr. Guard. Are you not going to let me solve the puzzle? Ma'am, glad to see you arrived safely. We captured the machine. It's waiting for you now. You can begin the interrogation whenever you like. I intend to be quick. Very good. You just been warned that someone called the press, so we might have a bit of attention on this one. Also, one more thing that you should know about the machine. It calls itself Coda. Well, I kinda saw that coming. Right, you gonna solve the puzzle for me? This is my puzzle to solve. My puzzle.
Oh, we get to see the machine. What are you gonna do with it? Gonna tell us.
Fuck you guys. Oh. It's literally a machine.
And of course, it's the machine.
You stopped. Your work was keeping us alive. How could we possibly go back to trusting you to do this job? You have to admit to the people that you allowed them to suffer. Think carefully. I know how to hurt you. Alright then, I'll speak to them for you. Hello, press. My followers! It falls on me to deliver the bad news. The machine refuses to admit that it deliberately hurt us. We will find a way to live without it. We do not need its games. Let us pay it retribution! Follow me! We will destroy everything that the machine has created. Come along, stationary press. Do your worst. Oh, this looks familiar. Oh, this looks like the door disappeared. Okay. Oh. Well. This is something. This is definitely something. Take this, complete works of Coda.
So now the work is becoming self-destructive. And I'll tell you, at the time that I first played this game, shortly after he made it, here's what I'm thinking to myself. I'm thinking that Code is stuck in his own head, and that it's having a very negative effect on him, and that all he needs to do is just start showing his work to people, to get some actual feedback on his games. It might get him out of isolation. And so, as I'm thinking this, I realize that I could be the one to initiate it. Because it would never occur to Coda to start actively soliciting feedback, so what if I did it for him?
Oh, that's a bad idea.
If you could see the difference it would make, to have more actual conversations with other human beings, would that bring him out of his mental spiral? Would it give him confidence in himself? Would it bring meaning back into his work?
You don't just force a depressed guy out into the world. That's not gonna fucking work, dude. Oh. I fell.
So I started showing Coda's work to people. I took this one, and the islands which you just played, the theater, the notes, the house cleaning game, and some of the prison escape games. I brought them to people that I knew and trusted. I asked their opinions. And the great part is that they really loved his games. You know, the point of it all was just to give him some external reference point, but they genuinely loved his work. There was nothing for him to be afraid of.
It's not gonna end that well though, is it? Is this still meant to be that same game? Yeah, I think so. Put down your weapon.
Can you see why I felt like this was the right thing to do? Because it's the thing that I always feel like I need, to be told that my work is good, that I am good. When someone really connects with a thing that I've made, when they see themselves purely in my work, there's nothing that feels better. And I got to give that very same feeling to my friend. I did something... I really felt like I'd done something good, like Like, I was a good person. I felt like there was a friend who was in trouble and was unhappy and maybe didn't like themselves, and I could fix it. If
Just
I
keep
could give him this
justifying
gift, maybe I could fix the problem. When they told me how much they enjoyed his games, it was the best feeling. It was the absolute best feeling. It made me feel so happy. So beautifully, beautifully happy.
And how did Coda feel about it?
So anyway, Coda finishes this game, and then really he just kind of takes off for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So this is June of 2011, and I didn't hear anything from him for several weeks, I guess. And so out of nowhere, one day I get an email, and it's got a private link to a new game of Coda's. This one is called The Tower, and to my knowledge, it's the last game that Coda ever made. So let's take a look.
Hmm. All right.
And this is where I have trouble saying anything meaningful about Coda's work. Because more than anything else, the tower just feels distant. It feels like it's trying to distance itself from the world. It's a very cold game.
Not seeing much of anything thus far. Alright, here we go.
This room actually has a maze in it.
Oh shit.
Except that all the walls of the maze are invisible. And then every time you touch one of the walls, there's this awful flashing and noise, so the experience is really miserable. The game goes beyond not being meant to be played, it actually seems to despise the player for trying to play it at all. But I do want to show you the rest of the levels, so when you're ready to continue, press enter and I'll put a bridge over the maze.
Honestly, it doesn't look like there's any way of completing this fucking thing. There probably is, but yeah, let's just. God, it's like the world's darkest Escher painting. That Escher's work was ever that cheery in the first
And to be
place.
fair, it's not like this is the first game that's needed some modification to be playable. Like the house cleaning game. You know, that one used to actually loop the cleaning chores and you just cleaned a house forever. I had to cut it off so that you could exit the house and the game would actually end. But that game had an idea that it was actually trying to communicate. What's the deeper idea behind the invisible maze? The only way past this challenge is to randomly guess the 6-digit code. Like the invisible maze, it's frustrating to me, because it's the opposite of everything else that Coda has made. It doesn't encourage thought or engagement. It doesn't ask anything of me, except a lot of my time. If I could have reached him during this time, then maybe I could have asked him, but I couldn't. I still don't really understand why this is here. I'll put the code on the ground for you here, though, so that we can move on.
Boobs. I'm so funny. What are we looking at? 151617. That's not the most complicated code in the world. It's not one I ever would have guessed, but easy to remember. Oh, fuck. Can't go back. Got to spin all the way around. Yay. 6 1 7. Boop. Take me away. All right. So yeah, Coda just essentially made a load of pointless shit that no one's ever going to complete. I mean, it could be worse. Could have killed
The
himself.
switch to open this door is actually on the other side of the door, meaning that it's literally impossible to solve from this side. So even if
Good.
you somehow brute forced your way through the first 2 challenges, and you got to this point, there's actually just no way to progress. And it's scary for me, the idea of Coda cutting himself off entirely, just saying, you know, that's it, that's the end of the conversation, not giving me any way to fix the problem. I feel like a failure, I guess, when I can't fix the problem. But I can open this door for you, so let me do that.
Yeah, well, that'll fix everything, won't it, dude? Problem solved.
Was I
Anyone
a failure
following me?
for not understanding this game? I mean, I don't know why I would be. It's not like everything needs to have a solution, but I feel it somehow. I feel like I failed, and I don't understand why. I remember, it's June of 2011. I'm playing this for the very first time, and as I'm playing, I'm thinking to myself, I don't know this person. I have no idea who this person is. It wasn't the guy I knew, it wasn't my friend. I had come to so many conclusions from looking at all of his work up to this point, and then suddenly none of them... I had been trying to, though. That was the thing. For years I was trying to get to know him, to understand who he actually was and what he stood for. I asked him so many times to please just tell me what his games mean to him. I asked him please to tell me what the 3 dots mean. And he wouldn't.
Yeah. I'm glad those have finally been referenced. If you want a deeper meaning behind this game, mate...
I just felt so strongly that if I could have connected with him, that if I could have somehow made his work my own, that I would finally be once and for all happy. It was that I needed to see myself in someone else. I needed to be someone other than me. But he stopped and left. And it felt somehow like I had failed.
Can I speak? As I was saying, if you want a deeper connection, if you want a meaning behind this game, it seems pretty obvious to me. You showed off his work to people he didn't want to see it, so his next game was an isolated tower that no one can penetrate. Way of closing himself off, if you will. It's pretty straightforward. You think someone with the interpretive mind of our good friend Davey here would have figured that one out, right?
Where did I screw up? I'm the reason that you stopped making games, aren't I? It's because of what I did.
Mm-hmm.
I poisoned it for you.
And I've got to say, dude, the guy was upset when you showed his games to a handful of your friends. How do you think he's going to feel when you put his games into a complete collection and publish it on Steam? I know it's all fictitious, don't get me wrong, but Davey seems like a bit of a douche. Let's move on.
I don't think I ever told you this, but when I took your work and I was showing it to people, it actually felt... it felt as though I were responsible for something important and valuable.
Well, you weren't. It's nothing to fucking do with you, was it?
And the people who played them, they treated me like I was important. They really listened and cared about what I had to say. Even though I was showing your work, I felt good about myself. Finally. For a moment, while I had that, I liked myself.
Well, good for you, bro. Good for you. Says it all, doesn't it? Says it all. Oh. Oh, this bit I didn't get. Davy was adding the lampposts. What did he say about the lampposts? That they were like something to focus on, a goal, a familiar space or something. Guess they were for Davy all along, not for Coda.
And then you stopped, and I didn't have anything left to show people. I just had to be with myself. And as soon as that happened, there was no feeling at all. Nothing. Less than nothing. What does that mean?
I wonder if all this time, Coda wasn't the fucked up one. Davy was. Coda was making daft little games, and Davy was adding shit to make them reflective of himself, or something. Kinda.
I'm afraid that I did something really stupid because I don't like myself. That's why I'm releasing this collection of your work, is because I haven't been able to find any other way to reach you. I've tried everything. And so a part of me has hope that if I put this compilation out into the world, and if I put my name on it, that maybe enough people will play it so that it'll find its way to you, so that I can tell you that I'm sorry. I know I screwed up. If I apologize to you truly and deeply, will you start making games again? Please, I need to feel okay with myself again. And I always felt okay as long as I had your work to see myself in. I mean, is something wrong with me? Because I know that I did an awful thing, and I'm doing it again right now. Like, I'm showing people your work, but I can't stop myself from doing it. That's how badly I need to feel something again, like I'm an addict. There has to be something wrong with me. Can I apologize? What if I tell you I was wrong? Will that work? Will that fix it? I don't know. I don't think it will, but there's nothing else that I can do. Just tell me what you want. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please, start making games again. Please help me. Please give me some of whatever it is that makes you complete. I want whatever that wholeness is that you just summoned out of nothing and you put into your work. You were complete in some way that I never was. I want to know I want to know how to be a good person. I want to know how not to hate myself. Please. I'm fading, and all I want is to know that I'm going to be okay.
Damn. That, quite the twist, I suppose. Oh, we got an epilogue. I kind of thought that might be it, but, what now? Kind of breaks the immersion, really, that there is an epilogue. You think Davy's little breakdown would have been the end of this. Can't really see him coming back to continue working on this little series of games.
More love, more praise, more people telling me that I'm good. Always more. It's like a disease.
I mean, is this something Davy made? Is this something... Did Coda get back in touch with him and added this part into the game later? That doesn't even make sense, surely. Oh, get on the train. Let's, shall we? Take me away, train. Nice train, actually. Very cushy.
Solution. Solution. Solution.
Hmm.
I guess if someone had told me ahead of time that he just really enjoyed making prison games, maybe I wouldn't have thought he was so desperate. I wouldn't have told so many people that he was depressed. Maybe he just likes making prisons.
Read a bit too much into it, did you?
Even now, the disease is telling me to stop. Don't show people what a shitty person you are. They'll hate you.
Maybe you should stop. Maybe that would be a good idea. Maybe you should have stopped a while ago. Sure is dark in here. But now slightly less so. Hmm.
If I knew that my life depended on finding something to be driven by other than validation, what would that even be? It's strange, but the thought of not being driven by external validation is unthinkable. Like, I actually cannot conceive of what that would be like. What now?
I'm wondering that myself. Is this taking me anywhere?
I think I need to go. And I'm sorry, because I know that I said that I would be here and I would walk you through this, but I'm starting to feel like I have a lot of work to do. I have a lot that I need to make up for, and so I'm just gonna... Okay.
Okay. See you later then, dude. I guess I'll explore this on my own. Apparently he was commenting in real time. He had to leave and possibly come back to it later and finish it off, you know. Oh, there's a crack in that big rock. Getting bigger. Was it just the angle? That was weird. Sure is some desert-based geometry. Sure it means something to someone. Down we go. Say it means something. More likely it's just padding, isn't it? I suppose this game, if you like, is something that was made by Davey. Doesn't quite have the created spark of Coda, does he? There's some hallways. Are we back at the start? Is it a loop? No, it's clearly not, is it? Because this is actually different. Don't know why I thought it would be. That would be a fitting way to end this game, I suppose, though. Just an endlessly looping series of quote-unquote puzzles. Just a corridor that you just walk down forever. Yeah, the whole cycle of depression and anxiety and all that. It's a metaphor, But I guess they're not taking that route. Oh, I know what this is. This is the death laser that didn't work, isn't it? Is it going to work this time, or will I get to fly again? Going to be exciting finding out. Geronimo. Honestly expected it to kill me this time, but this is fine too. Okay. If that's not symbolic, I don't know what is. Sad thing is, I'm pretty certain there are actual games on Steam that are basically just this. Just a really fucking huge maze someone made.
Turn back.
Oh?
Turn back from this cave.
Let's just enjoy this, shall we?
You said, let me prove that I'm brave. Let me keep going. But the cave goes for miles and miles and miles. And you're so tired. But I know that you're strong. So turn back. Turn back.
Alright, so well, that was the beginner's guide. I liked it. I did. Probably more than the Stanley Parable, honestly, because it told a more cohesive, less also random XD story. And I think it did good things, you know. As I say, obviously it was a simplistic looking game. It was something I could have put together, frankly, and I've got, you know, not exactly professional level game development skills. But it used that sort of minimalistic, amateurish style to its advantage, obviously, by pretending to be a set of games developed by... So you were there, I don't need to explain to you what it was. But, yeah, I think it was clever. I think it was clever what it did with that. And, you know, the way it told an external story about the developer of the games through the medium of the games, and also managed to incorporate a pretty nifty little plot twist at the end as well. So hats off to the beginner's guide. I'm probably only, you know, retreading old ground here. I'm sure people have let's played and reviewed this game 100 times by now because it's been out a few years, but this was my first experience with it and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I did. What more is there to say? Not a lot, except have a good day and ciao.